Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all to the second part for the lecture number 10 for the course of routing and switching. My name is Engineer Jaffar Ali and I am instructor for this course. So in the first part we have discussed about the Cisco Discovery Protocol as well as the LLDP protocol, and after that we learned about different tools and NTP, and we have also configured and verified the status of NTP as well. In the last part of the last lecture we have discussed about the syslog information and syslog operation. Let's keep that in mind, and let's continue our lecture number 10 part B. So the syslog message format is shown to you over here. You can see that the time is really important, and the information about the time is also there, and you can see that it is the time and the status and the interface, the port number, the channel, and change the state to up. So the time is mentioned over here, and there are different also mentioned fields regarding this syslog information: the sequence number, the timestamp, the facility, the severity level, and that is from 0 to 7 we have discussed in the previous part, the mnemonics and the description. So this is the type of the message format used for syslog. The most important thing that the syslog is dependent upon is the timestamp. So by default this log message is not timestamped, and log messages should be timestamped so that when it's sent to destination there is a record for everything, that where the message is generated, what was the message, who actually enabled or disabled any specific entity or body or any protocol, and it should be enabled because the notice date below one timestamp is activated. So you can see that by using this syslog information and timestamps service, we can take the information about the interface, the state to administratively down, link protocol interface, the Ethernet state, the change state, and different other things you can get with this timestamp. You can see that the log is basically mentioned over here. Excuse me. So using this information you can monitor some activity going on a system. This is the Syslog server, and to view this messages, a server must be installed in a network PC. So whatever you do in the PC, the server will be getting the information. You can see that the date, time, IP address, the message detail is also saved in a server. So the default logging, by default log messages are sent to console, and some iOS versions buffer this log messages by default too. So these are the status. Using this command show logging, it will show all the logs, and console logging, buffer logging, these are two types, and there are different methodologies involved in these types of logging. And you can also filter some modules, but there is no active filter modules over here. You can also filter out some specific tasks. For example, if you want to see who have shut down the computer in the last 30 days, so it will also only show the filter modules, that is shutdown modules or the logs for the system or for the network. So this is basically filtering methods that is also done by this logging server. A router and switches commands for the syslog client. So you know that this syslog information is really important, not only for the users but only for the routers and switches and the network devices as well. So router R1 is configured to send a log messages of level 4 and lower to the syslog server at 192 .168.1.3. so in this diagram you can see that I have started the logging of this server, and then we have trapped this at level 4, and later on we have mentioned the source to interface relationship and the link and later on we have loop back. This is the loop back interface. We have interfaced the loop back so that the information is also coming back to the server as well. So using this it was all done because the information was mentioned over here. We have to interface with the G0/0 interface. The loop back interface is created, then shut down, and then brought up back, and console output reflects these actions. So you can see that this is the console outputs. This console output is basically nothing, is showing the information that we have just done here. Excuse me. Now how can you verify a syslog? You can verify your syslog by using the logging information. You can see that we have show the logging, but we have indulged a filter. We have include that only show the logs of for which the change is occurred from state to up. So only those are presented to us and displayed to us which has the state change to up. You can see that change to up, change to up, change state to up, change state to up, change state to up. All these messages only for this is nothing but a filtering process. We have filtered out a specific parameter that for which we wanted the information. So this is the reason this information is really much important, because of the monitoring purposes and the verification process. Also this is done by the packet tracer. So in the lab, if you get the time, these are some important you can say practicals that I want you to learn, because this will be very much helpful in your field, or you can say in your coming life, inshallah. In your field you will be getting this kinds of objectives, that you have to configure a syslog service, you have to generate a log event, you have to initialize the set log clocks, you have to configure the NTP service on that, and then at the last you will have to verify the timestamp logs that either this is correct or not. So for a specific network, not just this network, let's say if you have any other network, you have to generate or configure a syslog and the NTP on that specific server or a specific topology. So if you do this is the last practical which I will be recommending in this lecture, so that you will have a clear idea of that what are we trying to learn in this course. This is the another project, but if you want to do it, you can do it. If you do not want to do it, it's totally up to you, but if you do it, I will highly appreciate it. The last topic of this lecture number 10 is basically the device maintenance. We have done with the device management, and in the last part we are talking about the device maintenance. So how does this maintenance occurs? So first thing that you have to know about is the router file systems, that what kind of files does a router have. So a router has different types of files, and these show file systems, this command actually will list all the available file systems that are available on that specific router, and it will provide the information such as memory, type of file system. You know that the type of file system this FAT or NTS and NTFS file system. These are different file systems that you have heard about. NTFS. These are different file systems, and it will also provide you the information about the permission, about read and write operations. It is also interested in TFTP, this is protocol, flash and NV file system, NVRAM file system, and it is also providing you the information about the bootable iOS that is located on the flash with a static. So you can see using this command, this dir, this will list all the content on that flash, specific flash, and it will list the last listing in the name of the current Cisco iOS file is the running RAM. So this will be the running RAM. This will be shown over here. The last entity will be the running RAM. To view the contents on the NVRAM, change to the default file system using the cd command, change directories. This cd is basically change directory, and this pwd is basically present working directory, that which is the present working directories that you are working inside. And in the last, this dir will also display you the contents of that NVRAM, and it will also include a startup configuration file, that if the RAM is just turned on, which is the startup configuration file. It will also show that file as well. You can see that using, if we are in the directory of this NVRAM and we have using this dir, it will show all the directories as well as a configuration file. You can see that this is the configuration files, this is the startup configuration files, this is a private configuration file, and these are some other folders and files that are over here. Let's talk about the management of a switch instead of a router. So similar to it's the same as the with the router. You do not have to do anything else. This is the same. You have to just show into the command show file systems, and it will display all that information that we have discussed about the router. Now the very important thing is the backing up and restoring using the text file. How can you create a backup and restore from that backup? So on the file menu, you have to click the log. After you get the log, you have to choose the location to save the file. Tera term will be begin the capturing text. So if you, as soon as you create the file, new file, and you want to save it as a log, it will also ask you to it will start the saving of the information in a txt file. Most important is that you can save this information in a txt file. So this will be done by, if you are capturing this information as a text. So Tera term is a software that will be is a tool that will be capturing this information as a text. After capture has been started, you have to execute the show running configuration or show startup configuration command at the privileged accept prompt. This will enable the text to display in the terminal window, and it will be directed to the chosen file as well. So it is a kind of catalyst for this kind of reaction, or you can say the action. When the capture is complete, you select the close, and the Tera term this close. You can see that after all the files are transferred in a text file, you can close, click on the close, and this window will be closed down. And if you want to view the file, with the file to verify, you can also do that by checking it. Now, how do you restore your txt file to a configuration file? So it can also be done. A configuration can be copied from a file to a device. When copied from a text file and pasted in the terminal window, the iOS executes each line of the configuration text as a command. Let's say you have a text file, txt file, and there are certain lines over here. So this iOS system will take each line as a specific command, and it will execute the same. So this is how the restoration process is basically done. From top to bottom, it will execute all the commands. When using a Tera term, these steps are: you have to click on the file menu and that send file. Later on, you have to locate the file that you want to copy in your device, and then click open. Tera term will paste all the information on the file into the device using the same operation. And in the last, the text will in the file will be applied as commands in the control list interface, and becoming the running configuration on the device. So this is the how you execute your file. You can also use your this backing up and restoration process by using TFTP protocol. We have also discussed FTP and TFTP, so you can also do that as well. The command will be copy running configure TFTP, and it will copy then configuration information from this file from this using this TFTP protocol. You can also use different types of USB ports that is provided by a Cisco router. So in a Cisco router you can see this USB ports shown over here in this block, specifically in this orange area. Certain models of Cisco supports this USB flash drives, and you can use this flash drives to basically copy or take a backup or restore to a USB drive. So this is also the same as well. You have to start with the show file systems, and it will verify the USB drive and name. You see that this is the kind of information that you will be getting. In the last you can see this flash, USB flash. You can click this, you can go into this directory, and from there you can run it. So you can copy the running configuration disable from this USB flash. You can see that this is a bootable USB, and from there you can take a backup, or you can copy your take a backup, or you can restore from that backup. So this basically copy the information. You can see that 5025 bytes is copied in 0.7. So you have taken the backup into the USB. Similarly, you can take another backup. It is mentioned that you copying to USB flash drive and no file pre-exists. Copying to USB flash drive and the same configuration file already exists on that drive, so it will be overrided. You can see that it will ask you to override it or not. If it has on the same file as well, it will override. It will ask you, and if you want to override, you can take a backup override. And this is basically a restoration process. You can see that you are into the directory of this thing, and from there you can there are two directories. One is the retried or directory, and the other is the operation file. So you can configure the file. You can see that you have configured enabled this R1 configure file, and it will start the configuring, or you can say the restoration process. The restore running will be configured using this command. This command over here. You can see that this is the command over here, and this is same command over here. If you run this command, you will be restarting the restoration process. So this is another port, you can say practical that you can implement, but it is also dependent upon the time. If you have the time, you can do it as well for backing up and the configuration file, and also use it with this the Tera term processes. These are different methods that you can take a backup using flash or USB or TFTP. Different tools are there. So this was all about the second part. I hope that you have learned this. I know this is a short video, but it was needed to be separated from that early part 1 because of the length of the first part was quite large, 30 minutes of video. So to reduce the size of that video, I have made these two videos, and I hope that you have learned a lot. And if you have any questions or confusions, you can write it down so that in the coming class you can ask me. Know that I appreciate the questions that you ask, because I believe in that the more you ask, the more you learn. And that's all for today. I'll see you in the class. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.